Welcome to Peak Radar Live. I'm Angela Seals. Tonight for Arts Month 2020, we're celebrating Poetry, Prose, and Comedy Week. And we're going to begin with a little bit of comedy. Now we're going live on the street with our Live on the Street correspondent, Jennifer DeDominici. Jennifer, where are you tonight?
Hi, Angela. Tonight I am outside the Westside Community Center, which houses Funky Little Theater, and tonight houses Stick Horses in Pants. We are so happy to have Stick Horses with Pants with us today. We have Karina and Casey and Megan and Mike. You might not see Mike very well because he's in front of this bus that is the same color as yeah, thank you, Megan. Thank you. Will one of you tell me what the improv scene is like here in Colorado Springs? Are you it?
No, there are quite a few other groups now. It's a growing community is what I would say. It's getting bigger and more people are offering classes. And yeah, people are just falling in love with the art form like we all did.
But you're the best. That's the...
We're the oldest. So we just last year celebrated our 15-year anniversary. So we're 16 this year, 2020.
We can get our driver's license.
Yeah.
You can drive that bus.
But our group has changed a lot in the last 16 years. We've kind of morphed with the improv sort of styles, and everything is, you know, new and improved always.
And are you the original members?
No, we're not. I've been in it for 6 years now, and about 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years.
A year and a half. I've been a part of this group. I started in California.
Yeah.
Fancy. Tell me what your shows are normally like.
We're a family-friendly group, but we are also for the whole family. So don't be like afraid to come and hang out with us, even if you aren't like a small person or like a big person. If you're a big person, definitely come and hang out with us because that'd be cool. I like big people.
Well, for those of you who haven't seen the show yet, we are going to show you a clip right now.
Okay, now we have the winter activity. What about a summer activity? What do you like to do summer? Tennis! That's a good one. Tennis!
Oh, hi. Who's about hi?
Oh, and the noise.
Ooh.
That sounds like a convention of apes.
You need to talk during this game.
Yeah, I know. Which
Okay.
one's look at me first? Who's starting?
Casey, start.
Hey, look at me. I'm playing tennis. Hey, look at me. This is a humongous fly. Hey, look at me. I'm fighting, but I don't know how. Hey, look at me. I'm interpretive dancing. Hey, look at me. I know how to clean your window really good. Hey, look at me. I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. I am a Panthers fan.
Chris and Janine.
Oh, Chris and Janine. All right. Now I'm going to get what is something that you did or have planned this weekend? Hunting.
Hunting.
I haven't done hunting before with this, so let's do hunting. All right. So Janine, I'm going to have you start. That's the motion. And Janine,
Why don't we simplify it? Let's just.
Okay, Janine, you start it off.
Hey, look at me. I'm hunting.
Hey, look at me. I'm really bad at tug of war.
Hey, look at me. I'm putting on a bunch of hats.
Hey, look at me. I am accepting a gift apprehensively.
Hey, look at me. I'm fighting on Black Friday.
Hey, look at me. I'm milking a tall cow.
That was so fun to watch that clip. Thank you, Angela. And tonight we are at a tailgate outside the Westside Community Center for the show that is about to happen by Stick Horses in Pants. Tell us a little bit more about this show and about your relationship with the community center and with Funky.
So our show tonight is a short form improv show, meaning we're going to do little games, each one with separate rules that make it more fun for audiences. And every minute we're going to see something different. Every minute.
Yeah, and we like to say a huge thank you to the Funky Little Theater Company and the Westside Community Center for giving us the opportunity to perform here, partnering with us and all the advertising and stuff that goes into that, and giving us an opportunity to perform live again because we've missed it like crazy.
And then if we miss the show tonight, where can we see you next?
You can see us at 3 E's, which will be downtown on November 4th.
Yeah. It's a brand new comedy club. We're super excited. They asked us to come and do shows there, and we'll have classes and workshops. Also, we have workshops going on here all the Thursdays in November, except for Thanksgiving, obviously. We're doing little drop-in things where you can come and play improv games with us, and we'll teach you how to play them and just little bits of improv here and there. So
perfect. Oh, Casey has something else to say.
Come learn to prov. It wasn't important. I thought it was more important than it
That
was.
is important.
Johnny boy. That was good.
And with that, thank you so much to Stick Horses and Pants. Thank you, Angela. And we'll let them get on with their show.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. You just never know when you're interviewing a comedy improv troupe when they're going to break out in Danny Boy. I just love that. Thank you, Jennifer DeDominici and Stick Horses and Pants, for opening Poetry, Prose, and Comedy Week's episode with a great little bit of comedic sketch comedy. It would not be Poetry, Prose, and Comedy Week without our incredible Pikes Peak Library District. And my next guest is Amy Rodda from the Pikes Peak Library District. Hi, Amy. How are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm excited to hear from you a couple recommendations because I know we have a lot of great writers here locally, and Pikes Peak Library District is a great champion of local authors and local illustrators. Do you have some tips of some titles that our viewers might like to check out?
Yes. We actually have, I have a number, but I'll narrow it down to just a couple.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, so Barbara O'Neill is a local author, but she's also a New York Times bestselling author. And she has a recent book called The Lost Girls of Devon. And it's a lovely book set in Ireland. It's wonderful. Many of her past books are actually set in Colorado Springs, which is really fun.
Oh, wow.
So she's wonderful. Highly recommend her. In fact, the library had a presentation with her just a few weeks ago, and you can catch it on our YouTube channel.
You guys have been doing a lot of really great virtual programming during the pandemic and serving the community in so many inspiring ways. So it seemed like a good moment to thank you for that.
Yes, well, thank you. It's been lots of fun. And then just another quick title. This is maybe a little more for on the teen side, but anybody who loves sci-fi dystopia. We have a great up-and-coming young adult author who lives here locally, Kelly McWilliams, and her book is Agnes at the End of the World. And It's really fun and a great book, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her going places.
Yeah, that young adult fiction is actually really popular for all ages of people.
Absolutely.
Love that genre. So thank you so much for those two really great suggestions. As I mentioned, the library's been doing a lot of programming this year. What are your next upcoming big things?
Absolutely. So we have something actually coming up this Thursday. It's actually another author presentation, but not a local author. This will actually be Emma Donoghue. She's the award-winning author of Room, which was made into a movie a few years ago. But her latest book is The Pull of the Stars, and it's actually our All Pikes Peak Read selection, which we do every fall. So we invite the community to read the book and then actually join us for the virtual presentation on Thursday at 7 p.m. So that will be really fun. We're really excited to see her. And she published, the book just came out this summer. She wrote it long before the pandemic, but the setting is in Ireland in 1918 during the Spanish flu pandemic.
Oh, really?
And so it's really amazing, and so amazing that she wrote that not knowing what was going to happen. So it's very timely and just a really heartwarming story.
Yeah, what a great thing to be all reading together right now. A lot of people have been looking back at the Spanish flu of 1918 as an example maybe of what not to do and what to do, but also maybe to remind ourselves that we're not the first who've gone through a pandemic. And there's something reassuring about being able to imagine the fact that others have been through the same hard things.
Right. So that's very timely. And then actually, just speaking of local authors, all through the month of November, we're going to be highlighting several local authors. On Saturdays, we'll be releasing just kind of almost like short book promotion videos that the authors themselves have produced. So look for that on Saturdays in November on our YouTube channel.
Is that the Mountain of Authors program?
Yes, it sure is. It normally takes place in the spring, but obviously we postponed it since we weren't able to hold it in person, but we still really wanted to celebrate our local authors. And so this is kind of what we're doing in place of that.
Fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit more about All Pikes Peak Reads, Amy. And you guys do throughout the year different programming that gets people reading together of all ages. So All Pikes Peak Reads is one example of that. And this is where our viewers can learn a little bit more about that. But it's such a great opportunity to have you on the show. Give us a sense of the other programs that the library does to get people together, even when you can't get people together.
Right, absolutely. So we're really trying to do a lot to really still connect people. And we know people are starting to get a little bit overwhelmed and tired sometimes of virtual programming, but since we still can't connect in person, so we have virtual yoga programs, meditation. We're still holding many of our book clubs online, so they can still connect and join together, as well as bringing in authors, presenters, health and cooking demos. So we're really trying to kind of connect people however they want to connect with us, and certainly we have to be creative during this time. But lots of ways to reach out.
Yeah, we all do, for sure. One of the things that I think has been really amazing during the pandemic is the services that the library has been offering that go way beyond reading. You've been offering for people to use Wi-Fi, or you've even put, at one point you had water running out of the downtown library district. Like, I think it was a water fountain for people who needed water when services for people experiencing homelessness were limited. Thank you so much for the way that the library plays all these roles in our region. As a member of the staff, can you tell us a little bit about what it feels like to be part of an organization with such a big impact like that?
Well, really, I mean, I feel so fortunate to really be part of an organization that really gives to the community and really thinks of the community. You know, when we're planning services, when we're planning programs, it's really with, you know, what are the needs of our community and what can we do to serve them? And so we had to be super creative, as everyone did when we closed. And so, yeah, it was how can, you know, expand our Wi-Fi in the parking lots, or we sent out several hotspots to local organizations that could get them out to people that maybe didn't have broadband or Wi-Fi at their homes. Yeah, we installed the hand washing stations, the drinking fountains, but really just trying to take the services that we have, and now that we're open, we've opened our doors. Some we're still not doing in-person programming, but certainly able to now offer a little bit more than during the closure. But I think really the idea is what can we do to help meet the needs? And sometimes it's partnering with other organizations, but really it means a lot to work for an organization that is really community centered.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a few minutes, and I wonder if you have any thoughts about misconceptions that people might have about the library district. Like, are there services that you think a lot of people don't realize are there that you might want to make sure our viewers know about?
Certainly. I mean, so we obviously have books, and we have hardcover books, print books, but we have ebooks. And I think even more people discovered ebooks during the pandemic. So the library certainly is a place for that. But we also have streaming video. We have streaming music. We certainly have ways to learn language, either coming in and checking out books and CDs, or actually using one of our online services if you're wanting to learn a new language. And we do lots of programs and classes. So, you know, ESL, GED, adult education classes, in addition to kind of the fun book clubs and yoga and meditation. We also then are trying to build skills, as well as a lot of the children programming we have. Right now, we're trying to be creative beyond virtual time, because we know kids are getting a lot of screen time. So we're doing story walks and dial a story, and just ways where we can still connect with kids and teens, but maybe do it in a way that we know they're already kind of inundated with screens.
Yeah. You must be playing a particular role right now as the schools are adjusting so much. How does the library interface with our local school systems and support them as they're going through, you know, all this virtual learning too?
Absolutely. Our children's department and our young adult department has really been fabulous in forming partnerships with the schools, kind of finding out what they need, how we can help. We actually just had worked with D11 last year to get a library card for all students in D11, and now we're working with a couple of other local school districts as well, so that we can kind of help supplement the resources that the school has, but maybe now they can use the library. And certainly while we're not able to go to the schools and visit, which is something that we certainly do usually, we're still reaching out to teachers. Okay, what are they teaching? What do they need? And how can we help kind of bridge the gaps or provide the resources? So we really try to work together and certainly try to help them as well. And distance learning has been something that, we're trying to look for ways that the library can help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Amy Rodda, thank you so much for joining us on Peak Radar Live. Again, if you're watching tonight and you're interested in checking out the book that they're reading for all Pikes Peak Reads, you can find it at this URL. And thank you again for all of the inspiring work that Pikes Peak Library District is doing in our community.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Throughout Arts Month, we have been enjoying some inspiring messages from local leaders about Arts Month. And tonight, we're pleased to have a message about Arts Month from Brandon Bournes, founder of My Black Colorado.
Since I was a kid, creative arts has been like therapy for my soul. It's been an escape when I felt overwhelmed. It's been a way to celebrate when I've been happy. It's been a way to vent when I'm angry. It has been an integral part of my development, almost like air is to life. It has shaped the way I interact with my environment. I see the world as my canvas and myself as a paintbrush. And when I move, I leave marks on the world as colorful as my emotions. Some days my art is so amazing that I just want to share it with the world because I want others to feel the same joy that I feel. I believe God made us creative so we can enjoy all the nuances of life, so we can form something unique and creative from our own imagination and watch it impact the world. When I think about celebrating art for the month of October, it's more than celebrating the works of art. It's celebrating the gift that God gave us to create.
Arts Month is a really special time, and it's a time when we do celebrate the gift that we all have to create. It's National Arts and Humanities Month, and we're very proud here in the Pikes Peak region to have such a robust celebration, even now, even this year in 2020. We hope that you'll have one new arts and cultural experience with your family or friends, virtually or in person, this October. Part of our special programming for Arts Month 2020 has been a new series of panels featuring local leaders called Community Conversations. Those have been unfolding throughout all of the weeks of Arts Month, 2 every week. And tonight, I'm very pleased to have with us one of the moderators of this week's panel for Community Conversations, Ashley Cornelius. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, welcome to the show. So this week, let's see, you are hosting a panel on October 22nd, this Thursday at 3 p.m. called The Role of Intersectionality Within the Arts Community. And again, this is when people can catch that. You can watch Community Conversations on the Cultural Office of the Pikes Peak Region's Facebook page or YouTube channel. So Ashley, why did you choose this topic for your panel this month?
Yeah, I chose intersectionality within the arts community because I think there's something so beautiful about telling the stories of our identities through art, and that's almost always woven into the ways that we express ourselves. And intersectionality is the ways in which multiple identities interact and intersect, and I thought it's so important that we not only address who we are, but the ways in which we show up in the world and how that interacts with our art.
Well, it is such an incredibly timely topic. And it's something that we've all been thinking about a lot more. We opened Arts Month 2020 actually with the panel that you were on, the Art of Social Justice. And so I think it's wonderful that you took the opportunity with this panel for Community Conversations to go deeper and really look, especially within the world of poetry and identity, at how those things all relate. Will you tell us a little bit about your panel and who will be joining you?
Yes, we have an incredible panel. They've sent over some questions that they'll have, and I will help moderate. We have incredible folks. We've got Michael Ferguson, who won the 2019 Artist of the Year for Poetry 719.
Wow.
We have Nico Wilkinson, who will be doing fantastic and is a core part of the poetry community here in Colorado Springs. And we also have Taisha Nativity, who is like foundational and also a big part of Inside Out. And then finally, we have Irina Amuzu, a UCCS student who is like groundbreaking and really my like hope for the next generation in terms of art intersectionality and that deep work we have to do in order to head towards change.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. It sounds like a really inspiring panel. Can you give us a sense of what you hope that viewers will take away from participating in that conversation on October 22nd?
Yeah, I really hope people start to understand that there's so many layers and aspects of the way that artists infuse their identities into art. And we often know that we have the visible identities, right? How we are identified or how someone might recognize us, but there's so many other layers. And this is an opportunity for folks to recognize how those layers show up, right? How we can start to tell the stories of our visible and invisible identities and look a little deeper into art, right? We can see pieces of ourselves in places that you wouldn't normally look. So I'm hoping that people really lean in to these conversations and then lean into the art.
I love that you can find pieces of yourself in places where you wouldn't normally look. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. Again, if you would like to participate in her creative conversation later this week, it is coming up on Thursday, October 22nd at 3:00 p.m. And that is the role of intersectionality within the arts community. Thanks so much, Ashley.
Thank you.
And we have the other host joining us now, too. We have Jenny Maloney. Hi, Jenny. Welcome to Peak Radar Live.
Hi, thanks. Thanks so much. Happy to be here.
So Jenny will be hosting a community conversation in just a couple days, writing strategies during times of crisis. Oh my gosh, what an interesting topic. And that is just one day before Ashley's on October 21st at 7 p.m. So Jenny, how timely. Why did you choose to host a panel about writing in hard times?
So one, it's really personal to me. I am a local writer, and I know that a lot of writers have been struggling with just all of the emotions and creating original content in a very stressful time period. There needs to be some way to address that, and I wanted to take a look at what some authors were doing.
Yeah. Like maybe something you've been struggling to do. Have you been doing some writing also during a time of crisis?
So I have, but when it initially, when the pandemic initially shut everything down, it shut down some projects that I was actively working on. I was working on a play for Springs Ensemble Theater, and I was right in the middle of the project and everything shut down, and suddenly what I was working on didn't feel relevant or important to say anymore. I mean, it was a comedy. It's something funny, but it seemed like humor had changed with the times too.
Yeah.
So it was hard to adjust and to recognize what was happening. So I had to put the brakes on, and that project was tabled. And I think that there are more writers out there who had a hard time trying to figure out, well, how do I move forward? And you know, there were all these memes and things like Shakespeare wrote King Lear, you know, during a plague time. But when you're worried about your safety and the safety of your family and society is struggling, it's really hard to believe that anything that you put on paper would be important.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I've heard that from other people in other disciplines in the arts community, that there was almost like a pressure to immediately be able to create out of this crisis in a way that was really relevant and transcendent or raw. And like, not everyone reacts in that same way. And
exactly. Sometimes you're like, how do I get groceries, let alone write an epic like King Lear, or comment intelligently on things that are happening when things are happening at such a fast pace.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about your panel and the people that you have invited to have this conversation with you on October 21st.
Yeah, so the first panelist, his name is John Marcantoni, and he is a local playwright. He is a novelist, and I know for a fact that he also had a project that he was working on that got interrupted specifically by COVID. I was actually doing the lighting design for his play, Puerto Rican Nocturnes, when we got the news that the whole show was going to be closed, which was very disappointing. So I was right there with him when the creative world kind of fell in. And so I'm really interested to hear what he's been up to since then and how he's moved forward past that.
Yeah.
And then my other panelists are middle grade author Fleur Bradley, and she writes for middle grade for reluctant readers. She has 4 novels out, and she is just sharp as a tack. And she had some health concerns leading into COVID, and so she's been very isolated for a little while, and she just had a book release. So I think that it would be interesting to find out how publishing is doing during this time frame as well, because what is the world that we're functioning in? And similar to that, the third panelist, her name is Laura Di Silverio. She is a mystery author. She has authored, I think, 21 novels, and she won the 2016 Colorado Book Award for mystery. And she has a lot of insights, I think, into, again, publishing and the creative life.
Wow, that sounds like a fantastic panel. And we're so pleased to have such fantastic leaders in the literary arts world hosting creative conversations this week. I hear on the comment thread, we've got people saying, it's Jenny Maloney, and Jenny's amazing, and the same kind of reactions for Ashley. So thank you so much for being one of the arts leaders who stepped up to moderate.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I just want to give a shout out to Ashley too, because originally I talked to her, but she was hosting another panel. So I wanted to get her insights for this very tough time as well, but I'm just going to have to pick her brain separately, I think.
Yeah, trauma and the arts are an intersection.
Exactly, it is.
That she has a lot of expertise in, and yeah, she has a lot of wisdom too. But yeah, she's hosting the other one. So your community conversation is coming up on, where did my mouse go, on October 21st here, Writing Strategies During Times of Crisis, and that'll be at 7 p.m. this Wednesday. Again, you can catch all of the community conversations on Cultural Office of Pikes Peak Region's Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much, Jenny, for joining me on the show.
Thanks so much.
And thank you for joining me on the show. I hope we do have one new cultural experience this week in poetry, prose, or comedy. I hope you've gotten inspired and that you'll tune in again next week when we start to celebrate music and dance together for our final Arts Month episode of Peak Radar Live.